How do you know when you should buy a house versus continue living on rent? The decision to buy a house is always a big one and should be taken with a lot of deliberation. So when should you buy a house? To buy a house, you must have a steady source of income for loan repayment and have ready money for the down payment, which could be anywhere from 10 to 20% of the property value. You should also have emergency funds in place for at least 6 months to pay installments in case of a job loss or pay cut. You should be able to ace the home loan eligibility test that banks give and have a good enough credit score to ensure a lower interest rate. Lastly, buying a house is best for individuals who plan to stay in the same city. So when should you stay on rent? When renting, you still need a lump sum for the security deposit, but funding a home loan is much more expensive. Rent if you don't have an adequate emergency fund and if your income is erratic. Stay on rent if your credit score is lower than 600, because you'll get a loan at a high interest rate or get denied altogether. Finally, rent if you plan on hopping around cities or your job requires you to shift often. So, what's the verdict? If your rent is almost equal to the expected EMI for a home loan and you want to settle in that city eventually, buy a house. But make sure you have the long-term financial capacity to own the house.